Hi guys, this particular tutorial is going to be for high key portrait effects using adjustment layers. So it will introduce you to some layers if you don't already have some experience of those, and we'll try to explain those as we go along. For this particular tutorial, I'm going to use an image called model.jpg. So I've just gone to File and Open. All these items are in alphabetical order, so I'm just looking for model under M. .jpg, and there she is. So if I click on her and click on open, you'll see here that she opens in the desktop area. Now I did say this involves layers, so we're going to look at the layer palette here, and you'll see that she currently is the background layer, and that background layer is currently padlocked. And you'll see the exposure of the actual image itself is not too bad. Now eventually what we're going to do is we're going to brighten her up and make her more high key, so make the highlights a lot brighter, the midtones a lot brighter, and soften a lot of the shadows. We're also going to make her black and white, and we're going to bring back a colour for her eyes. Okay, so this will be as 3 or 4 layers. We will save it as a PSD, which is a Photoshop document, which means that you can come back at any point in time and do some more work on it. And we will also, what you would also do then is also save out a copy as a JPEG, which is a flattened image for print purposes. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go down here to the adjustment layers, which is this little black and white icon at the bottom. And if you were to hover over that long enough, it would say adjustment layers. And if we click on that, we have a variety of adjustment layers that we can use. The first one that I'm going to go for here is levels. Now the levels deals with the brightness of the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights. And what we're going to attempt to do here is grab the highlight slider and move it to the left a bit, and you'll see that she gets brighter. And we're going to grab the midtones and move it more to the left as well. We'll have a little preview here, not your typical preview, but if we take the eye out of that layer, which is our levels layer, you'll see that you can go between the original exposure and the new exposure. And if we're happy with that, we're just going to let it be. If we close this down, the next thing we're going to look at then is back down to the adjustment levels or adjustment layers, and we're going to go then for gradient map. Now at this stage, some people confuse gradient and gradient map. We're actually going for the bottom one. Okay, again, a new layer will be created. The gradient currently is black and white, but we could choose different gradients if we really wanted to. There's a wee bit of a heat signature going on, some pastels, some bronzy type work, etc. But we're going to go just for plain black and white option 3. Now if we decide that we want it a little bit more high key at this stage, we can do that. If you actually click on the gradient bar, it brings up the gradient editor. Now again, if you click on these little tabs, a little diamond will appear in the middle. We can move these tabs, and what happens sometimes is you get a little click happy, so on and so forth, and you end up clicking other tabs in, and people start to panic at that stage. If you just grab the tab and drag it away, it will disappear. Okay, and you can change this at any time as well. So if you click on the tab first of all without moving up, you can grab this little diamond and you can make it more high key, or you can make it less high key. It's up to yourself, but we're aiming for a high key, so I'm just going to take it a bit more to the left to make it more high key. And you'll see there that we have some details of the eyes. The eyebrows are starting to get brighter, we're starting to lose some of the hair detail, and a wee bit here along the cheek. It's subjective, it's whenever you're happy with it. So I'm just going to click OK there, and again get rid of this box. And just to show you that you can actually change it at any point in time, if you double click this little icon that I have my little hand cursor on, it will bring up the gradient map. And again, if we click on that, you'll see that the little gradient editor is exactly where we left it the last time that we were in. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust that a little bit. There was a little change along here, and I'm going to OK that and get rid of that. Now you're saying that's great. But what happens if the levels and the gradient are mixed up? To be honest, nothing. Doesn't make any change. Now at this stage, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the paintbrush. We're going to make sure that our paintbrush says normal and that it's at 100%. And we're going to choose a wacky color for her eyes. So I'm just going to go for pink. That sort of pinky purple is really vivid. And I'm going to zoom in here because I'm not really good at looking and seeing accuracy or accurately at this distance. So if I zoom in, and again in the navigator, you'll see the little box get smaller. If I grab that and move up to her eye area, I'm then ready to apply the paint. Now at this stage I need to take a new layer. I want this to appear, I want this to be on a separate layer basically, okay? If I switch these two off, that's the original colours. We haven't changed anything on the original pixels, but we have on the layers above. So if I take a new layer and I start to paint in, you'll see there that we get at the minute black, okay, even though I asked for pink. So let's change that again and okay that. So we have pink in our foreground and we go to apply that and it ends up as a shade of grey. And you're going to ask, why is that? Well, if we look at our layer palette, you'll see that our black and white layer is above our colour layer, which gives us a shade of grey. If we grab the gradient map layer and move it down beneath the colour layer so that the colour is on top, you'll see that you actually see your colour. And you're going to say, well, I can see the colour, but I can't see the image information. We'll deal with that in a second. Okay, so make sure that you're back on your colour layer and that it's currently active. You have pink in your foreground, you're on your brush tool, and start bringing colour in for the other eye. Now, we've got the colour in, we've lost the image information, but it's no big deal. We're on layer 1, and just above layer 1 you can see normal. If you click on normal there, down towards the bottom, second item from the bottom we have colour, and if we click on that, you'll see the image information coming through, as well as some overspill of colour where we don't want it to appear. That's perfectly fine. We're going to go for the eraser, which is left 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, consider this as a brush. Do look at your brush size. Okay, do bring it down to a manageable level. And then take off, again, look at your opacity, make sure that's up to 100%. Take off the excess, or rub out or erase the excess colour where you don't want it to be. You don't want it to be on our eyes, you don't want it to be on our eyelids or just beneath our eyes. You just certainly don't want it to be on our skin or on the whites of our eye. And again, you're doing this with a reasonably soft edge brush. And if I just zoom out there, you'll see now we have a high key model effect with pink eyes. Pink eyes aren't for everyone. If you decide that you don't like the colour of your eyes anymore, it's not that you go back into your colour and choose a different colour and start painting that on again. Okay, what you can do is you've painted the colour in once, you're currently on layer 1, and if you want to change the eye colour, you simply go to Image, Adjustments, and Hue Saturation. And if we just bring that over a little bit, just on this hue slider that I'm hovering around at the moment, if we grab that little tab and take it left to right, okay, you'll see there that you can see the eye colour will and does change. And whenever you hit a colour that you're happy with, you simply say OK. Now, I did say earlier, because we're working with layers, different layers, whenever we save this, it will automatically go to a PSD format, which is Photoshop document. PSDs keep the layers all separated out so you can work on them later on. Okay, if you're finished and this is going to be your final image and you're ready to print, whenever you do file and save, change the format. Let's just do this. So file and save, you're going to change the format down here to a JPEG and give it a different file name so that it's unique. Okay, we don't want to overwrite the original image. So I'm just going to put high key in there. And whenever we hit save, you'll be presented with the JPEG quality options box. Sometimes whenever you go in, it could be as low as 7, okay? The smaller the number, the more compression is put into your image. I would recommend, especially since we're working with photography, that you keep it up to a maximum of 12. And what that will do is it puts in less of a compression algorithm, which means that your image is going to be sharper, it's going to be bigger file sizes, and it's going to be better. Okay, it's better all around for us. Okay, and I've just hit the OK button there. The separate layers still appear on the screen because we're currently working on the PSD version of it, but there will be a copy of a JPEG put into your folder. Remember where you save it to. Thanks, guys.